guys, it's Mrs. C here with Cycle 1, Week 12, Ideas for Presenting New Grammar. Hope you guys are having an awesome week. We are halfway through the year, which I can't believe. We'll be on winter break. I should be back on January 15th is when our community starts back. So for those of you who are wondering if we would line up, that's when I'll be coming back. I tried last year to kind of be ahead for those of you who were starting back earlier than me, but it was just so difficult for me to kind of stay ahead and plan ahead because I don't plan until the night before community because that's just what works best with our schedule. So I will not try to start early this year, but I will be back on January 15th. So hopefully most of us will still be together. But yeah, we'll just jump right in with geography. So I always start with geography because I like to go ahead and have my maps out. Any extra things we're using can be laid out. Just kind of helps lessen the transition time between another subject and then going to geography. So, and then we move from the table. Usually we move down into the floor for timeline, and one of my parents can kind of gather the maps and everything. It seems to work well to help us transition. And also my kids are ready, like they run in and they're ready to sit down at their seats. So since geography is kind of something you have to, be sitting down and looking, and it takes a little more concentration, that I like to do that first thing. So we used our Hatchimals again. If you don't know what a Hatchimal is, they're all different sizes, but these little tiny ones, they come in these little eggs and you hatch them open. They come in like 6 packs, but Ella, my daughter, just had a bunch of them, so I stole them from her. But they're like there's a little bird, there's a little like cheetah. They're just really cute little figures, and they're perfect for moving from one location to another, as long as they're not like super close together. So I realized for my families today, I completely forgot Baghdad. So make sure you go over that at home. Sorry about that. But I started in Mecca, and then we worked our way all the way up to Syria. Then we went down to Damascus in our blown up square, and then all the way back up to Tours. Oh, excuse me. And then we worked all the way back and kind of went back and down. So we went backwards. And then as we're moving, once everyone gets their little figure on the dot for wherever we're at, so let's say they all found Mecca, we will say 3 times quickly, Mecca, Mecca, Mecca. 1, so they're hearing it. 2, so they have a chance to say it, because not everyone will say it. If you're like, say Mecca, like only 3 of them will say Mecca in my class. So it gives them all a chance to kind of jump in and say it at least 1 time with us. So yeah, that's what we did. And we just went, like I said, we went all the way up and then we went all the way down, and we're saying it 3 times. So they're hearing it and they're finding the spot on there. So that was geography. Usually I would go to English next, but this week we did math next because, we've moved on from times tables. I don't know about you guys, but I'm always happy when we moved on from times tables at this point. So I have this box that is just a present box, and it's got a lid on it. I use it, I don't know, I don't think I've used it at CC before, but I use it in like our Bible class and stuff. And so I just had Smarties in here. And what I did, we sing Teaspoons and Tablespoons to the tune of Happy Birthday. So it goes, 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. 2 tablespoons equals 1 fluid ounce. Teaspoons and tablespoons. So I let each kid hold the box. So they hold it and we sing happy birthday to them. And then they get to open the box and they would take out a Smartie, and then they pass the box to the next person. We'd sing it again, and they'd get to open their present. And I like to joke with them like, did you get a puppy? Or, and when they open the box, they all know what they're getting after the first kid. So then I just am silly with them about that. So we had an extra friend today. And so we ended up singing this through about 8 times, but because other things weren't taking as long, it worked out. So that's what we did for math. While they had their Smarties for math, we went ahead and did English and history. I went to history next, and we just listened to the song a few times through as they finished up their candy, or even if they weren't finished, they have these little guitars. I bought them at the dollar store. They have this kind, and then they also had like a electric guitar looking one. So if you have older kids, or you don't think your kids would like this and like the other ones, you can get that. But I got these at the dollar store. The song kind of works well for guitars, so they can kind of take it and play on their guitar. They make like just enough noise to be gratifying, but not so much that you can't hear the actual music for the song. So we just listened and sang through it a few times because they were all content to sit at the table and just listen and kind of eat their candy or play on their guitars. So then we went to English while we were still sitting, and we just have our last 3 prepositions. So we have with, you've got 2 fists, you're going to bring them together, knock your knuckles. So with, in. So it's just like what we did for in, which is just your finger in kind of inside your fist. So with, in, and then without, we're going to do that. You could do without and point backwards to keep consistency with the other prepositions that have out in it. But because we're done with the song, it's kind of like, hooray, we're done. So again, with, in, without. Okay. So again, they were still sitting at the table at this point. So we did the motions, they did them with me. And then we listened to the song a few times just because we had time to do that since there were only 3 prepositions to learn today. So yeah, I had down if we had time to, or if I needed to march around the table, because it's a great song to march around to because of the rhythm of it. So if you need to get up and move, that's a good one to do. For science, we have plant systems. So we have photosynthesis. So we're going to take a photo. Respiration, we're going to put our hands on our chest and take a really dramatic breath in and out. And then transpiration. I know it's not transportation. However, it helps me to remember it because it sounds like transportation. We're going to drive a car for that one. Okay. If you have a better hand motion, please share with me. I just couldn't think of anything better, and it just helped me remember what it was. So photosynthesis, respiration, and transpiration. Okay. For Latin, we played Duck, Duck, Goose, just like we did last week. I have had a few of you ask what I mean by Duck, Duck, Goose, or how we play. So what I do, we have the kids sit in a circle, and then we kind of divide it up. So one person will duck the people while we do singular declension. And then when we say, singular 5th declension, whoever's head they tap, they get up and run around and, come sit down. And then that person will sing plural declension for. So we go around and tap. When we get done, say plural 5th declension, that person gets up and runs around, sits down. Then we go back to singular. So we can usually play it 4 times. So last week we played it with one half of my class. This week we played it with the other half. So that way everyone got a turn, and they knew that they were getting their turn this week, and they remember for me who didn't have a turn. So that's how I play Duck Duck Latin, if that's what you want to call it. And it's fun. I also feel like I'm doing a public service to the homeschool kids to teach them how to play games like Duck Duck Goose, because my kids don't have any idea how to play that. But yeah, so our last thing is timeline. So for timeline this week, I joked with my kids that I had a problem that my timeline cards ran away and hid when we got there. So they had to go and find them. And when they found a card, they were supposed to come find a card and then sit down with their card. Normally, I only have 7 kiddos in my class, so there's a card for each of them. We had an extra one today. So if you didn't get the cards, didn't get a card, so I let them kind of help me hold them while we were putting them in order and laying them down. Once they get the cards back to me, or I'm sitting down, we put them out, and I'll do like the first card, the second card, and the third card, and we go over the hand motions, and then we try to do all 3 of them together. And then I'll add the last few in, and then we'll go through cards 1 through 5, and then I'll add the last 2, and then we go over all of them. So that's how I kind of get our 7 times in. Also, while they're finding the cards, I'm singing this section of the timeline song, so they're hearing it and over multiple times. So we have a Genghis, so we're going to do a G. It kind of looks like you're getting ready to pinch something. So it's a G for Genghis Khan rules. So we're going to kind of salute him. Here's a ruler. The Mongols, if you're me, you kind of have to do like a kick line kick during that part, because that's what the music sounds like to me. Then we have England's Magna Carta, just like we've done before for England. We have a flat hand. We're going to bring our right hand over and grab the side of it, and then we're going to kind of shake it up and down. Magna Carta is the Great Charter, is what that means. So anytime we have anything great, we kind of raise the roof for it, so to speak. You're just kind of like, oh, it's so great. And then Carta, we're going to make a C. It was a type of law, so we're going to do a C here, and then in our forearm, just like we've done for law, but we're going to do a C instead, okay? Ottoman Empire, we're going to make an O for the Ottoman, and we're going to draw the shape of the Ottoman Empire. It's kind of a rounded rectangular shape. So that's what we're going to do for Ottoman Empire. Marco Polo. We're going to cover our eyes and open them just like when you play the game. So Marco Polo's journey to China. The sign for China, you can't see me very well, but is you touch your left shoulder, your right shoulder, and then down to your right hip. And that symbolizes the buttons on the traditional Chinese garment, I believe. But they have buttons on their clothes there. So left, right hip. Okay, so that's for China. So Marco Polo's journey to China. Then we have the 100 Years' War. We're going to do a 1 and a C. A C is the Roman numeral for 100, so 100. So 100 Years' War. We're going to do our sign for war. And then we have and Black Death, which my kids love because it's and Black Death, and you have to strangle yourself when you say it. So the 100 Years' War and Black Death. And then the Renaissance was a rebirth. So again, sorry, you can't see these very well when they're lower. It's the sign for birth. So we're going to like be touching our stomachs. We're going to bring it out like we're birthing it forth. Okay. So the Renaissance and China's Ming Dynasty. Now that I'm standing, I'll show you. So you're going to do left shoulder, right hip. So China's Ming Dynasty, they were building a lot during this time. So we're going to pretend like we're building, which is one hand, other hand touching, just hand on top of hand, getting higher and higher. So that was timeline. For Tin Whistle today, I used, I used some painter's tape on the floor and made a staff. And I brought like a big foam dice thinking that they could just roll it and wherever it stopped. But apparently I have some bowlers in my class because they kept rolling right past the staff. So we ended up just letting them go and put it wherever they wanted to. And then we had to, figure out what note on the staff it was. We also reviewed all of our parts of the tin whistle, all of our parts of the staff, like the bar, line, measures. We reviewed all of our notes. And then at the end, I let each of them come up and take a turn being the conductor. And for the littles, it's so hard for them to play. So we didn't try to play any notes today. It was just them blowing when the conductor said to blow and stopping when the conductor said stop. So it was more following directions for that. We did play an awesome game for review that I'll tell you guys about real quick. If you're on the tutor page, if you just look up race car on the tutor page on Facebook, it'll pull up some written out directions. This is not my idea, but I'll tell you what we did because it was really awesome. We combined all of the classes today and divided them up into teams. I believe we ended up with 5 teams. And I brought in some race cars, and each team picked a race car. So they all had, just your regular little Matchbox type car. And then we used the flashcards, the CC flashcards, just for the weeks we needed to review. And one of my parents helped me. We laid them out around the table, and that was our racetrack. And each card represented a space. So each team had one car and a die. And they would roll their die and see how many spaces to move their car. So they would roll a 3, they would move it 3, and whatever review card was on that space, they would take that review card, run back to their parent who was their, crew chief, and they would go over that review question, roll their dice again, run back, move their car again, and keep going. So the aim was to get all the way around the table and be in the winner's circle. But the fun part was, and this is where it was changed up, I saw this idea on there, it made it kind of more competitive, was you got to stay in the winner's circle until someone else got all the way around the table and knocked you out. And so the hope was to try to be in the winner's circle when review time was, the end of review was called. So again, that's, I know, not the most thorough explanation, but if you go onto the Facebook tutor page, you can just type in race car in the search bar and it will bring more specific directions up for you. But it was a really fun way to end week 12. I think most of the kids enjoyed it. It was pretty, we made our teams a mix of the classes, so it wasn't like all masters kids or all abecedarians. It was a mix, so they were helping each other. But yeah, they really got into it. So anyway, I hope you guys have an awesome winter break. I am hoping that it's productive for everyone, that it's full of friends and family, and just all kinds of good things for you guys. I hope you have a great start to your new year. It's crazy. I hopefully will be on in between now and then with just some other homeschooling ideas. If you have anything you want to hear about, please leave me a comment below and I will try to do a video about that. So anyway, I hope you guys have an awesome week. I will see you back next year. All right, bye.